लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। तो ये समय जो कोशिश चल रहा है फिलहाल, ये हमारी ज़ेना फैमिली का, तो कायम रखे। बाकायदा हम लोग, we cannot meet in person, but there's always a virtual world that we are able to meet. And I'm very glad that I'm going to host this one of its kind virtual meet live right here on Zoom, Ketan Shah's Zoom meeting. And we have wonderful people who are talking about this Zena family, though I'm really new to it and less more to know about it, but I've had few interactions with all of you and a lot of common friends, of course, who have got me here. And a wonderful initiative by Rajiv Anand ji, Rajiva Anand ji, as the other A, and I've had other E into my name. So today is one of its Navaratna meet, unveiling the agenda behind the 9 numerals, 9 different functionalities of Zena, the foundation, the healthcare part of it, the soul connection part of it, the business end of it. So it will be unveiled, spoken about to make people understand about this Navaratna meet, that we have these wonderful people from various walks of life. Walks of life of engineering, walks of life of aerospace, walks of life of defense, walks of life of business, walks of life music, walks of life sports. And I've been told there are quite a number of IITs, IMMs, Lady Sriram alumnus, Stephenites, and Harvardians in this wonderful organization, and I'm very pleased and glad to connect. मैं छोटा सा आदमी हूँ, लेकिन आपकी तरह मेरे भी उम्मीदें कायम है, जिज्ञासा भी है कुछ करने का, तो हम लोग इसलिए जुड़े कि संसार के लिए, ये दुनिया के लिए कुछ करें. So without wasting much of the time, we will begin today's Navaratna, Zena World's Navaratna meet with one of these beautiful albums, which I just really heard an hour back, just to get my mood into this hosting, this virtual hosting. Lyrics by Tyagiji and a wonderful composition by our own Colonel Veer Singh. Just to introduce you about the Zena anthem presenter, Colonel Veer Singh. Colonel Veer Singh is a music enthusiast, an active music composer. He has had his the interaction that we've had, the good interaction that we have is it comes from Bala, a wonderful place in beautiful state of Punjab, which I've always adored of with the spirit and zeal that they have. He's a skilled music composition. He's expertise in project management, technology management, and training management. He wanted to serve for 30 years in defense and 20 years in professional experience in IT management. That's quite a lot of achievements that he has capped onto his hat. Served as director of Army HRD Center of Mountain Corps in Ladakh, wonderful place to be, and served as joint director IT projects and DDG IT at the Director General of Information Systems. Wow. Is a master's in statistics and operations research specialization, serving as a senior member with several institutional and academic societies. And he's also an NCC credit certificate holder, NCC, with flying and aero modeling experience, and also the gold medalist at state and national levels in aero modeling competition. A lot to learn from you, sir, apart from just the music. I think music is your passion, but your real interest. Glad that you've served for the country, and we're all in good, safe arms because of these gentlemen who serve in the defense and internal forces and the external security forces. So without wasting much of time, presenting the Zena anthem by the wonderful soul on this wonderful occasion of the Mother's Day, and wishing you all a very happy Mother's Day on this 9th May 2021. Colonel Veer Singh, take it away.
Thank you, Kapil. You spoke wonderfully, and the style in which you speak is surely mesmerizing. So no doubt that you're a celebrity yourself. And
Thank you.
here I'm going to present this Zena anthem written by Ambassador Tripathi. Ambassador Tripathi, sir, is a very, very knowledgeable individual who writes equally well in English as well as in Hindi. So this Zena anthem, which I'm going to sing, is in Hindi, composed by me and sung by me. So now this time I'm singing it live from my
So we don't
studio,
have the
and I'll be
audience
playing
clapping for
background.
you because of the mute, but I'll clap for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So the anthem goes now. I hope music is audible. हम सदस्य ज़ीना के हैं, ज़ीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। हम सदस्य ज़ीना के हैं, ज़ीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। कष्ट गरीबी दुख हरने का हम संकल्प उठाए, धरती को कुटुंब करने के लिए प्रयास बढ़ाए। कष्ट गरीबी दुख हरने का हम संकल्प उठाए, धरती को कुटुंब करने के लिए प्रयास बढ़ाए। हम सदस्य ज़ीना के हैं, ज़ीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। सबको रोजी रोटी हो और सबको हो खुशहाली, हो निर्बाध विचार भावना सदा सीखने वाली। सबको रोजी रोटी हो और सबको हो खुशहाली, हो निर्बाध विचार भावना सदा सीखने वाली। हम सदस्य ज़ीना के हैं, ज़ीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। दया क्षमा नैतिकता हो और हो सम्मान सभी का, सबको यूं अपना माने के दिल ना दुखे किसी का। दया क्षमा नैतिकता हो और हो सम्मान सभी का, सबको यूं अपना माने के दिल ना दुखे किसी का। हम सदस्य ज़ीना के हैं, ज़ीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा। हम सदस्य ज़ीना के हैं, ज़ीना परिवार हमारा, चारों ओर खुशी फैलाने का है अपना नारा।
Wow, wonderful, 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 sir. So before you go, I want to ask you a few questions to you.
Yeah.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. You can just to general audience. What is it that put you into music away from this heavy defense work that?
Yeah, Kapil, I actually grew up with music. I belong to Lucknow, the city of art and culture and music. So
So
that ambience, of course, had its role to
तहजीब के
play.
साथ
Ji,
हटाया
ji.
गया.
I have actually inherited music from my late mom.
Okay.
And my mother was a very good singer, but she was never allowed to sing on stage owing to the conservative kind of a system. She came from a royal family of Kishangarh, near Ajmer. And she studied in Sophia College, but nobody could see her face because it was a parda system. But she was an excellent singer. And
So on this beautiful Mother's Day, wishing happy Mother's Day for this
thank
wonderful
you.
Happy
lady.
Mother's Day to all of you, sir.
Yeah, to everyone. So,
Still that spirit
yeah,
into you.
yeah.
Happy
So,
Mother's Day to all of you, sir.
everyone, to everyone. And that's how I became a self-trained musician, singer, and composer. No formal training. I'm actually a hardcore techie, so that is my formal education. But at heart, I'm an artist. And you asked a very good thing. How come this thing, from a very different kind of a job in the army? I mean, working in army was always my passion, even when I was an NCC cadet and a student pilot. So I wanted to join the army. I wanted to be a pilot, and by God's grace, I could do both. I was also one of the few test pilots of adventure flying wing, and so 30 years in the army, and I'm very
Maybe
happy.
one day, as the COVID comes down, we'll all come and see you in Ambala.
Yeah, most welcome, most welcome. Each one of you is welcome. It'll be my pleasure to host anyone who comes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Listen to you, sir. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. And there you go, the live presenter for the Zena anthem, Colonel Vidi Singh. Give it up for him, and I can keep clapping for him.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. As we come to the next segment, as the great Shakespeare, the wonderful writer, tells that the world is a stage, and you're all those actors in it. Of course, I see a stage right now in front of me, in form of all you people, and we're all acting up being a good human being, acting up being a wonderful soul during this tough times of pandemic, that we're all in some way or the other connected to have a soulful and wonderful connection to all of us. And this is a soulful connection of a soulful meeting. That is what the Zena family is all about, is connecting souls, people, connecting all of us together. And in the great Shakespeare's world, we're all going to act well and going to come out as winners from the stage of the world. So our next presenter for the evening, a keynote address, is this gentleman who is, I think, is named after this the India's first astronaut who went onto the space. I'm getting the name right. He holds a PhD in management, PhD in computer science, and an Army veteran, IEEE and IBM awardee, and 32-year+ years of teaching experience out of total 44+ years of experience. Wonderful experience in teaching, skilled in teaching, training and administration, currently serving as Associate Director Total H, ex-founder General Industrial Institute of Science and Technology, ex-founder, Vice Chancellor of IEC University, Badi, ex-Director and Founder Dean, Badi University, if I'm getting it right, of Science and Technology, ex-Director and Founder Dean, Graphic Era University, Doon, wonderful. Headed various institutional boards and units in academic institutions, and Army Advisor in Education of Jharkhand government, quite a credential. And he has been a mentor, coach, trainer to various Army officials and technical students, actively participated in many research competitions and projects, activities, and several projects independently, having vast software knowledge. And without much waiting, the keynote address for today's Navaratna meet by Colonel Professor Rakesh Sharma. Give it up for Colonel Professor Rakesh Sharma.
Honorable members of this very nice august body called the Zena world. Only an expert with infinite possibilities and dreams can dream of such an august body called Zena world. Kudos to Rajiv Anand for laying the embryo, and now it is upon us to nurture it, to do the Zena world proud. Whatever I shall speak, Kapil has already introduced. I'll add a few more. I will speak on my BITS Pilani as a student leader, Army for renovating the communication scenario by launching 21 electronic private automatic branch exchanges throughout the country, and of course launching the first satellite during Operations Vijay in Siachen, the coldest place in the world, coldest battlefield in the world. And of course, the sports domain, which I excel. My domain has been weightlifting. I have been the high performance specialist for the India team and have nurtured quite a few of Commonwealth players, including the last Olympic coach in athletics, Mohammad Kuni. Now, this talk of mine shall be interspersed with a few motivation so that we have the necessary josh Jazba and Janoon to do the Zena world proud. It is stated when I was in convent, Venudhar, I am from Ajmer. Hats off to your mother. I am from the same place. And it's been our state to wherever we go with that brand. I came, I saw, and I conquered. Let this be a guiding factor for the Zena populace. Let us acquire a brand. And now it is a time not for acts, but for debates. Sorry, I stand corrected, not for debates, but for acts. We should have the josh to ignite fire in the belly. Jazba about our own confidence, about our own conviction. If I can do something for the Zena world, I must. And now is the time for me to act. Junoon to excel and finish off in a style. My teacher from St. Anselm's Ajmer used to say, Rakesh, he is Father Cedric, who taught dramatics to Nasruddin Shah. In fact, Nasruddin Shah is from my school, St. Anselm's. Now, he used to say, Rakesh, all of us are gifted. And most of us open our presents very late. So at the onset, let me tell you, all of you, including me, are gifted. And we must now open up our presents so that the gifts can be shared in the form of brand for Zena world. Before proceeding further, lots of competition has been done by Rajiv. The efforts I am being a witness to has seen so many hardships for Rajiv. Someone leaving, again joining, again. So now that it has matured into a fine body, let us discuss some very hard facts. My first point of deliberation, and I leave it for the house to openly discuss as and when it is convenient to all of us. Membership fee. Let me tell you very correctly that nothing works on this earth without vitamin M. And let this vitamin M be nurtured for some various processes and SOPs and legal aspects for the Zena world. Let it be a shell fund. Second would be, which is very much required, and like all the corporates say, whenever we have members, be it in my society or anyone, due diligence must be taken. Whether the member has the potential to come up to my mark, I am the leader, let us say, of some group of Zena world, whether my team member has the potential to come up. I'm not telling the ability. Ability is for me as a good leader to bring him up. But whether he will do justice to my ambition, to my aim plus. Already I had a very bad experience in one of our members, and that's why I tell you, whenever we take, and I've shared this with Rajiv also, whenever we take any member, let us have due diligence. It is required. What we must also know is the strength and weaknesses of our members so that we can exploit their strength and minimize the weakness. I tell you an example. I was Director General with the Shahid Udham Singh Group of Institutions at Mohali. And there was a notorious element and lots of his girlfriend and boyfriends boycotting, mass boycotting. So as Director General and being an army officer, I had to move on the ground. And I was surprised the entire class was there watching this man in action. I'll tell you the name at the conclusion of the story. He was doing motorcycle stunts. Having said that, after his stunts, I called him into my chamber of the Director General, bashed him up. And he came up with a polite statement, sir, I have this gift. I wanted to exhibit. I told him, in case you have the guts, participate in some adventure forum or like this. As luck would have. Within a few weeks, I saw an advertisement. And that advertisement was for adventures. This guy, his form filled in, and believe me, he stood first in that competition. Sahil Anand is his name. And so is the case with Mohammad Kuni. We got him nurtured into the army for football. Having seen his long strides, I personally motivated him to go in for 100, 200, 400 and 1500 meters. He was shunted out from the core football team, Corps of Signals, and then he was inducted into the athletics. Within 1 year, he got the services gold medal, and he played for the Commonwealth, and he became a coach to the last Olympics, where for the first time, our men team stood fourth in the relay in the final. So this is the prowess of I am forgetting, Roadies is the name, where Roadies 4 winner was Sahil Anand of Chandigarh.
Oh.
You can imagine, if you nurture your members, if you mentor your members, they can do wonders. And all of us as good leaders of Zena World will do wonders. That is my guarantee. That is guarantee of every one of you. You are bound to do wonders, and let this brand be sporadic throughout the globe. All of us have our own weaknesses, and sometimes we tend to err. After all, we are human. So let us have within our 8 of those branches, 4 for profit and 4 for non-profit, 360-degree feedback laterally as well as horizontally. With this, we will improve ourselves. No one is perfect. Let us all try to be perfect. As I say, excellence is the road which never ends. Last but not the least is the leadership. When I go for lectures, IITians are shit scared. I am from BITS Pilani, let me tell you very frankly, and my initial tutelage was in IIT Kharagpur. However, due to Naxalites imbroglio, I had to leave. As leaders, we tend to sway with the moods of our team members. That should not be so. No regionalism, nothing, no bias. And leadership should be a perfect leadership, nothing less. And let us lead our men, or let us lead our members into a path that is rarely taken off, because most of us are now treading on a path which is rarely taken, which is very difficult, as Thomas Frost has put it in his poem. Also, I must say, and that is what I say, I have my own weaknesses. I tell my students, gentlemen, if you have the guts and the power, rag Colonel Rakesh Sharma, but don't drag your juniors. And this goes into the head. So ragging automatically ceases in the best of universities. I've been advisor to Government of Jharkhand, Higher and Technical Education. First PMU created by Prime Minister, I was heading it, and Jharkhand, you know, is a takeaway from Bihar. 2000, it got segregated. No student used to enter the class. I had my friendship with the ZEO people, and they came up with a fantastic idea to launch IT park or the Geo parks throughout the Jharkhand. And the only restriction was you have to come to the college premises. And within a week, it improved. Once I went to Jamshedpur en route, I came to Dumga sports ground. I saw tall guys playing barefoot, hockey, 6 of them from the national, like the Namdharis of the Punjab. I requested the secretary A.K. Singh, provide them the turf, provide them the kit. He also was taken to the place And today this college boasts of having 5 national players. 5 members of this college are in the India team. With this in mind, it is also at times that, let us say, Rakesh Sharma is no longer there on the scene. I should delegate my responsibility or my bonuses to that next most suitable team member. This all of us must bear in mind, that in case we are to survive, we have to minimize our weakness and fortify our strengths. This I will repeat on and on. You see Milkha Singh, I met him in Chandigarh practicing at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, sweating. Chandigarh Panchkula Golf Club. My son also was there. I was surprised. I thought I'm the only one who's going to the gym around 2 o'clock. So I told Milkha, मैंने कहा सर आप इस समय कि यार मैं इस समय इसलिए आता हूं, एक तो भीड़ कम होगी, दूसरा मेरे को खेलने का मौका मिल जाए. You will be surprised that my son was his foursome member because they used to come at 2 o'clock. So this is the hard work of Milkha that brought India the glory. And we are all into the rut of Zena world. So we have to work tremendously hard. Having stated this, no job is impossible. No job. Let us concentrate on Zena world and let us do some finese state of work which are remembered by the society in general. Roadmap will be discussed by the subsequent speakers. I will need not elaborate. I will dwell upon a few certain aspects which we must, in the time of pandemic, and this pandemic is going to take our hell till 2025. Already mycocorsis is there in the offing. Then they expect another fall in October, November. So at this time, the society is confused. They are criticizing each other. Let us take to their help, to their support. How about having a plantation drive with oxygen? It may be aloe vera, it may be tulsi, it may be anything. Wherever Zena world people are there, members, give it the guidance and the diktats of Rajiv. Let us have few oxygen plants. I'm doing it. And I got the nursery guy of the forest department, and he has promised around 8 lakh saplings. So now these saplings go all over Azmer, go all over where I can unleash my contacts. And these are there. There are 8 plants. After the conclusion of the address, I'll send the details of my address as well as the plans, etc. to Rajiv, and y'all can share the things that I have gone in for our Zena world members in Azmer, in and around Azmer. That covers Rajasthan, that covers Delhi, because my daughter is squad leader with the Air Force in the Digital Image Processing Advanced Center. She'll also be a witness, and she'll also be my team member, supporting team member. Second point, which Venudhar and most of us are aware, but no one is bothered. Forget officers. We have Jawans who have retired from the army. They have parents. They have houses. Roofs are leaking. The floors are seeping. Pandemic is there. Guys are serving at Siachen, minus 30 degrees Celsius. Yesterday, I was speaking to my signal officer there. K-Top, Kardungla Top, the Lake Pangong Se, beautiful lake. So there the people are there with their families as far as Chennai, but they are not aware whether someone is taking care of his mother, properly vaccinated, not vaccinated, his children going to school, not school. Army tries. But what about those people who have their families outside the station. So let a few Zena teams in their own area, in their own capacity, ensure that these guys of servicemen, ex-servicemen are catered to in their needs and are helped by way of us. I tell you a live example and how corrupt we are. There's a girl who's cerebral palsy from birth. There's a girl who's dumb since birth, multiple fracture in 2030, wheelchair confined, 60 years old, unmarried. Brother, ex-serviceman. Railways, her father was a railway. She is entitled for a pension. But since August 13, when her mother died, they have yet to cater for her pension. And every time you visit that stupid railway office, the goalpost is changed. Sometimes he wants a date of birth certificate, sometimes he wants, and he has ragged her so much. And of late, when the things went to railway minister through our help, it came out this guy was asking a stupid bloody certificate, Sanrakshita Praman Patra, which is already there in the army personnel. Now you see the gravity, how civilians are treating ex-servicemen. No one is bothered. A lady is supposed to get up when the officer enters, how many of the collectors, etc., or how many of the collectors enter or get up when an army officer or a Jawan or a lady enters the premises of their office. No one. And then you expect army to be at your disposal 24/7. This is very bad. I have first-hand experience. People have started crying. Wives have been manipulated. There was a Mulchand Karke, ex-serviceman of mine, very hardworking, very bulandshahr ka tha, very dedicated. His wife was swapped by a stupid police inspector. I wrote to Chief of Army Staff, got it back, and I sent my wife to the Lady Welfare Center to ensure that she's brought back with dignity. Now, this is what is happening to the bulk of ex-servicemen, and since, or the servicemen also, and since these things don't peter out, people are suffering. A volcano erupts. Let Zena world, wherever feasible, wherever possible, try and help the ex-servicemen and the servicemen should they request for help, or alternatively, like I drew out in my social circuits, anyone requiring help, why not? Certainly, I will try my best. At least listen. Who stops us from listening?
Let's
Pandemic.
listen, and let's listen to whatever Colonel Sharma is of the fleet, and hope and pray that Zena, we all as a family come together in this time of crisis and give the best shot to save the society, to change the society, and bring more awareness to the society post the pandemic. Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful keynote address. I'm cutting you short in the interest of time, but we have a lot of time to discuss and to come. One final question from me to you, too, is where do you get all your spirits and energies from? Quickly.
I get spirits from everyone, from Kapil, from Venudhar, from Rajiv. These are all my spirited icons. Of course, parents being number one. And by God's grace, I'm surviving the pandemic, the endemic, and whatever the situation be. God has been very nice. Thank you, Kapil. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. A wonderful oratory by you, wonderful presentation. As always, a defense personnel is very perfect, very correct, and very astute about things. Thank you so much for your keynote address.
Thank you.
And a round of applause to you for the wonderful address. Yes, the next in line speaker today will be addressing the purpose of this meeting. And in her own words, she's been a special educator, and in her own words, she says in exuberance, says that every child is special and they have to be nurtured personally to make them better. And Today being the Mother's Day, I wish her, first of all, being the mother for all these special children. And we look up to our educators, we look up to our teachers. Wonderful teacher that she is. Very happy Mother's Day to you, Tyagi ji. This is Mrs. Reena Prakash Tyagi, a researcher, counselor, administrator, child cognitive psychologist, and certified administrator, founder and chairperson, SEAS, SAIS Global Institute, trained teacher from London College of Teachers, done certificate program in supporting children in special education needs from Hesh, United Kingdom. Also a wonderful orator that she is, and giving a lot of inputs. Reena Prakash Tyagi ji, happy Mother's Day, and take it away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Words can never define a person. It's their attitude towards getting things, and it's their devotion, determination, and dedication that one becomes a person who or she is, he or she is. Today, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here together for this Navratna meet. We had already planned it earlier. In the month of March, all the 9 legal entities for Zena World were formulated completely. Having done that, we proceeded by conducting each entity meet individually. And the main purpose for the structured agenda about each entity was discussed in these inaugural meets respectively. We had been conducting it. In fact, all the 9 legal entities have been formulated and everything is now on track. Having completed that, it was logically planned that in the month of May, we would organize a combined Navratna meet. That is how we call it. And that has been finally conducted today. A big round of applause for all of us to become a member of Zena World. I would like to emphatically highlight that today's virtual meet is the original meet that was to be organized today itself. But due to the attack of COVID, I would call it attack of COVID, which was not expected so soon and not so drastically, in the month of April, the meeting could not be organized as we had planned. The takeaway of the meeting is going to be an important attempt to deliver some clarity about our motive, as we do realize that we have some new members amongst us. We will have a better and a clearer understanding about our areas of involvement in the projects we would be working upon. I think that's all I would like to say, because we have limited time and we have all of us here. So I think that's the crux of it, the exact thing that we will be following today. It's all over to you, Kapil.
So, ma'am, I have a few questions for you. First of all, where did all your hair go?
I just chopped it off.
So this is the new look. So I want to ask you another question is, you've been a special educator, and
Yes.
So I want to know on this wonderful day, is that are children more easy or are men more easy?
I don't think any of them are easy.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I've got the answer from you, and happy Mother's Day. A wonderful
Thank you so much.
that you have been, and a special educator for all these wonderful people. And we look forward that many of people like you.
One thing you forgot to mention, Kapil, it's not CS, it's SEAS Global Institute. It is India's first virtual school, 100% virtual.
So it's like the sea.
Yeah, it is. It is a sea. Because the main motive behind it is education is something which can never be confined in a bottle or a box. It is a vast sea of knowledge where each of us get a chance to just take a dip and come out.
Wonderful, wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful hearing to you, and we look forward to have wonderful such meetings, and as claimed and proclaimed by the Zena family and Zena World Group. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening. Next in line presentation, we have the vision and the mission statement by Mr. Atul Sinha. Mr. Atul Sinha is a skilled administrator, currently serving as Managing Director, Scarlet Tiger Brand Design, ex-Vice President, Britannia Industries Limited, Bangalore, MBA graduate from XLRI Jamshedpur, and alumni of SRCC Delhi University and Loyola Jamshedpur. Required credentials to Mr. Atul Sinha. So without wasting much of the time, let's have the Zena World family vision mission statement by Mr. Atul Sinha.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Am I unmuted?
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Kapil, for the introduction.
Pleasure.
So I'm not going to read the vision statement. You know, you've all got it. It's a one-pager. You got it with you. But I'm going to pick out some key points and also bring in my own life experience to throw some light on it. I want to relate an incident. In the early 2000s, I was the director of oral care marketing at Colgate in Bombay. And we had a very smart chief operating officer worldwide called Bill Shanahan, American gentleman, number 2 in the company worldwide. And, you know, he would come to India every 6-7 months and interact with us, try to figure out how the company is doing. And one day it happened that it fell upon me to drop him to his hotel from Powai, where our office was in Bombay, to ITC Grand Maratha near the international airport. And given the Bombay traffic, it was a nice long drive and he was in a good mood. So we began chatting about this, that, and the other. And he asked me, Atul, as a senior manager, what is your main role? So without even thinking about it, I said strategy. And he said, wrong. Strategy is done by a level below you. Your job is people. And, you know, I really thought about it and he was so right. And when I look at the Zena world and what Rajiv has created, he has just picked out with his charm, really. I mean, I had no intention of joining this organization, but he just charmed me into it. And he spoke to me with a Bihari accent. I'm also a Bihari, so wo bhi tha. But jo bhi hai, but he charmed me into it. And he's got all of you, I'm sure all of you fell for his charm. And so he got this whole group of people. And it is said that when you start a venture, all you have to do is put good people into a bus. Don't say where the bus has to go. Just put good people into the bus. The people will decide where the bus will go. So I think the first part is at least he started off on a good footing by getting good people together who have very diverse experiences and who are good people. And when you put good people together, good will come out of it. So the purpose is, you know, we are a family, we bring joy and prosperity to our lives and all the lives around us. So I think family, Rakesh Sharma ji spoke very well that, you know, when you are in a family, the key word in a family is nurture. And he mentioned that very well. He says it's not about ability. Ability is something to nurture. And he gave a very good example of that ruffian fellow who became a roadie champion. You know, he found his ability. It was misdirected. The guy was, he directed him. And, you know, he nurtured that person. So family is all about nurturing. So, you know, you have to feel nurtured and you have to make everybody else around you feel nurtured. And once that happens, then again, the people in the bus, their abilities increase. There's some X factor which comes up. Something comes up from within, and there's a lot of power in human beings within which is blocked. And as good leaders, as good teammates, we can bring that out. There are lots of stories and movies made on this kind of a subject. So that's what a family is all about. And a good family will create a family in the world. So, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is something which is not just an empty slogan. It's something which can happen. Okay. And this brings me to the question of leadership. So I recently published a paper. It's a chapter in a book actually, and it's called "The Problem of Ethics in Business. Does Vedanta Have a Solution?" So Kapil, one thing which is not there on my biodata, I also have a PhD in yoga. So besides XLRI and all that stuff, after I hung up my boots, kind of from a very busy corporate job, I decided to start. 6 years I studied Vedanta and yoga and darshanas and all that stuff. Okay, so when I was researching to write that paper, I found something very interesting. I found that broadly there are two kinds of organizations. One kind of organization is a very command and control. It's very top down, is driven from top down kind of a thing. The other is a more participative organization where the employees are empowered. And I read 4 or 5 papers which had researched, this participative organization and empowered organization culture versus the command and control kind of culture, and found the participative, empowered culture delivered better financial results. I'm not talking about happiness in the company. That's wishy-washy, but it delivered better financial results. So my takeout from that was that end of the day, I'm going back to Bill Shanahan's words, that every enterprise that we do in this world is about people. And once you unleash, and people have intrinsic power within them, and once you unleash that power, great things happen. And by doing a command and control kind of a thing, it's not that, there are certain situations in which command and control has to be there. If you're fighting a war with China, it has to be command and control. Otherwise, you won't win the war. So it's not a blanket kind of a thing. But the kind of organization that Zena World is about, it's a more organic organization. It's got a lot of diversity in people. It's a more lateral organization. Everybody is at the kind of a same level. Over here, this whole, if the leadership can encourage participation and empowerment, that I think will be very good to achieve the purpose which Zena has set out for itself. The second thing about leadership is to be able to mediate between the many ideas which are floating around in the organization. So different people are coming with different ideas. So there is a sort of a democracy, and the leadership should be able to get the best ideas to float up, should be able to contribute with those ideas so that those ideas get more matured and the best ideas float up. That's the second job of leadership. And third, the most important job of a leadership, any organization as it grows is become very siloed. So if I were to talk about a corporate company, then you have marketing, sales, manufacturing, etc., and each working, as a silo. And they're not like kind of interacting with each other as much as they should. There are a lot of dynamics and politics and all kinds of stuff. And the job of the leader is to break those silos. So Everybody is working like this, the leader is working like this. So these are three main things I would like to talk about leadership. Also, what I would like to talk about is the way Zena has framed its purpose and vision. Is it has said this is the field. I want to work in this field where there is joy and prosperity. I want to work in the boundary of the field is I want to appeal to the intellect, to the emotion, the spirit, and to the economic dimension. So this is the field I want to work in. And the excitement is that how do we navigate this field is, we have to come up with. It's not there. It's again going back to my bus example. You get the good people in the bus and they will figure out how to navigate and where to take the bus. But there's a field. There's a field. So your field is not to kind of pick up a gun and fight a war with Pakistan or China. That's not your field. So what is not there is known, but there's a certain field, and how you navigate that field is left to the people in the organization. And the job of the leadership is to encourage those people, those ideas, to get the best out of them. From the purpose, what I am getting is that one aspect is discourse. That is to appeal to the intellect. And there are many people over here who are academics and researchers, and they can come out with discourse. Just for example, Colonel Sharma ji mentioned that abhi wo COVID times, people are like at each other's throat. Everything is wrong. They're complaining. So in that atmosphere, can there be an intellectual discourse to kind of analyze what's happening and give some kind of intellectual platform? That's something which is there in the purpose. The second thing is, the emotional aspect is to make Zena loved by the people who come into interaction with it. Increase the likability quotient of Zena. Increase the connect it has with its stakeholders and customers and people its lives that it touches. How to do that? And of course, there is a economic dimension. How do we help people to, better their economic prospects? So the field is pretty much set, right? And just one more thing I would like to talk about is in our character, there's the mention of the word virtue. And virtue is, what is virtue? You can have a long discussion on it. But, being a yogi, I'll give you something very, very simple, where it will never go wrong. If you follow this, whatever action you take will be virtuous. You don't even have to think about it. And it is encapsulated in our own Shastras as Karma Yoga. Whatever you do it with the spirit of surrender. Surrender it to whoever God you believe in. Then that God will work through you. And if the God works through you, He'll do only virtuous things. You don't have to think about it. So it's a beautiful document, very broad. It's full of goodness. People are good. There's a lot of people with very good leadership capabilities. So hats off to Rajiv for starting this off, and really all the best to the entire Zena team for this to take off. Thank you.
So, in the words of the yogi, Atul Sinha ji, so I would ask you a question, which is the role that you are more attached with? Is it being an administrator? Is it being a top-notch official in Britannia Industries? Or is it that of a yogi, or that of serving the humanity and serving the society?
So yeah, it's a good question, Kapil. So I mean, I was when I was in Britannia and Colgate and stuff like that, I was like typical.
We can hear you going on.
Typical harried manager, a lot of stress, and I lost all my hair in doing that. And I did whatever I could do. I rose to a certain level. I'm happy with that. But at the age of 55, I decided that there's something else which I want to do. And what that something else was, I didn't. Some disturbance coming somewhere.
1 second.
Yeah, but go ahead. No issues. Go ahead.
So I said, my point there was, I think I have had enough of the corporate world. I don't know what I'll do next, but let me get out of this, because if I remain there, then I will not be able to figure out what I want to do. And I remember my boss in Britannia. I was the vice president of marketing, and my boss was a lady called Vinita Bali. She was managing director. And she asked me, Atul, what are you going to do? So I said, Vinita, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Bali. And not because your name is Bali, but I just want to go to Bali and go diving and clear my head.
Okay.
So I went scuba diving in Bali.
Wonderful.
And then I said, Vinita, I want to do a PhD. So she said, in what? So I said, I don't know. I'll go to XLRI. I'm an alumnus of XL, and I'll do a PhD in something, strategy, management, marketing. Stuff like that. And then I went to Bali and came back, and I said, no, this is not what I want to do. I mean, I've done enough. I mean, what more can I learn in marketing? I've been in marketing for 30 years. What can a PhD teach me? So not what I want to do. And I happened to go to this university in Bangalore called Swami Vivekananda Yoga University.
Wonderful.
And I said, this is what I want to do. I said, I was always interested in quantum physics, spirituality, and stuff like that. And I spent a week there, and I said, my God, everything which I've been looking for is there in our Shastras. You study, Samkhya or Vedanta, it's all there. And it's all there to so systematize that nowhere else, no other knowledge system in the world is as systematized as this in this field. So I got very excited, and I cut a long story short, I enrolled for a PhD program. Again, I said, what will I do the PhD in?
You cherish more. So just to cut you short on the interest of time, but just to enlighten you also that I've had some part of my engineering education in Bangalore. So as well. So wonderful. Okay. Nice to see a fellow Bangalorean too. Thank you so much for your
Hello, sir. Can I take
presentation?
Can I take some time? I just want to say only one thing. I'm Babita Chaudhary from Purnia, Bihar. I'm watching, I'm in meeting, but sorry for this. I'm not opening my camera because I'm in my mother's room, and my mother is on bed, and I'm doing something for my mother, taking care, but I'm listening all of you. So please pardon me, sir.
Fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kapil, can I just interject for 1 second, please?
Yes.
We can kindly request everybody, but for the speaker and the moderator, to be unmuted. Rest all of us can be muted, because there is a lot of disturbance that we get, and we are unable to enjoy the way we can enjoy it. That's it.
Thank you, Ajiva Bhai. Thank you so much. Thank you, Atulji. Thank you so much. And One of my favorite actors is also a Sinha, that is Shatrughan Sinha, and in his own words, we can just say, "Kamosh." Thank you so much.
My favorite actor is his daughter.
I'm sorry?
My favorite actor is his daughter.
Me too. Thank you so much. We have so much in similarities. Have a wonderful day, sir, and wish you and your family a happy Mother's Day to wonderful people at your home. Thank you. The next presenter is who's going to speak about each entity and what is all this Zena world family and what is this all about? Foundation. What are these Navaratnas? What are these 9 entities? What are these NPOs? What is the NGO? What is this business activity? To give an entire explanation about all these. This is wonderful lady who have had a good association. She's a wonderful woman who actually have had a travel trip to teach in one of these beautiful triple ITs in Nizamabad district, about 300 kilometers down from Hyderabad. Several years of experience in teaching and research in area of economics, international business and entrepreneurship, skilled in teaching, training and entrepreneurship, holds a PhD in economics from Usman University, also holds MPhil and a master's degree from Hyderabad Central University. Served as faculty in reputed B schools of India, actively engaged in research, consultancy, and training activities on general management, leadership, global business, economic trends, etc., etc. Successfully conducted several faculty development programs on teaching techniques, case study methods, entrepreneurship skill development programs, author and editor of several journal articles, book chapters, and book in various publications, guiding several PhD students, very vivacious, very enthusiastic, very, very energetic, and always participant. Please welcome Dr. Nandita Sethi, who can
Thank you,
Kapil. The entities of explanation. Nandita, before you start,
yes,
your screen should be on.
my screen is on. I'm not in. Just a second. My screen is on. You are not able to see me?
No.
My camera is very much on.
I can see you.
Okay, I'm just trying to. Atul Sinha is still in the spotlight.
Yes.
Okay.
Just a second. I'm just trying to see that I can. Yeah, 1 second. Get that off. 1 second. Yes. Okay. Have I got him on? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Kapil. Thank you so much.
First of all, very happy Mother's Day.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And very glad to be here. And a happy Mother's Day to all of you for having wonderful mothers and for being wonderful mothers.
Yes.
Yeah. So one thing I think which my profile did not have, I think somewhere it is an outdated one, is for the past 6 years now, I am running a startup accelerator where we nurture youngsters and old across the board. We kind of inspire them to become entrepreneurs, no matter what their age. We help them, we support them, and we launch them to start their own businesses. So that's what I've been doing for the past.
That's when we first met you, and wonderful initiative to took in Hyderabad Central Universities. And I wish, and please take it away. It's all yours.
Thank you, Kapil. Thank you. Now I have a rather, I would say, a dull job, because mine would be more like just mentioning and reading what each entity is about. But I'm inspired by the previous speakers, Colonel Rakesh Sharma, who talked about army and best practices and how, he compared it with the civil life. And then we had Atul Sinha ji, who spoke about leadership, beautiful examples of leadership. So I thought I should also add a bit of, he's given me a lot of time, 27 minutes, I don't think I would require, but I would definitely like at this point to share a bit of my vision for the Zena world and the Zena family as well. At the outset, let me, what comes across to everybody in the Zena family is clearly that it is about people and it's about joy and prosperity. Nothing in Zena has ever been compulsory for anybody, and we have all come out of our own choices to contribute, to add, to learn, to give, to take, and to enjoy art, culture, music, and give whatever knowledge, skills, experience that we all have. So that is the premise that we have when we visioned Zena. It came across, and I'm happy that Rajivji has been very successful in showcasing that to everybody, that there is something in for everybody, no matter what his passion is, no matter what his vision is, his skill, his experience, or what he looks for to become a better version of himself in the Zena family. So I'm just trying to put in what I thought as, I look forward to by some of the best practices which I have seen across other such groups without naming any of them, but some things which really, inspired me. And I thought these are best practices which we should bring to Zena as well. And I will share them very quickly in the next 5 minutes before I go to all the 9 entities. It starts with a small story of, actually me traveling with my family to another country. And in the passage, there was a stoppage at a foreign country where a one-day stoppage actually resulted in something so terrible. But how a group came to my rescue is something I want to share with you. I've shared with Rajiv ji, and I want to share with all. And this is something I visioned for Zena as well. So this happened somewhere in 2008, where en route to US in London, I get off with my family, and somewhere while I was walking, and we stopped for lunch, my purse, which has money, passports, tickets, phone, everything gets stolen. So I am with my family in a foreign country, having no identity, no passport, no visa. I mean, that's there, no money, luckily a place to live in with our host, and then complete of all the money that was withdrawn for the onward journey completely. So what do I do? Being a part of a group, we just looked across and saw that there is something called a marketplace where you can put up your challenges. Now I'm in a foreign country, remember, and I have no identity. I don't have my passport, neither does my family. So I put this up on this place saying that, this is what has happened to me in London. And can somebody help? That's all. So the minute this was put up, the messages I get from the group I'm a part of: do you need money? Do you need accommodation? Do you need transportation? Do you need anything? What do you need? Please tell us. We are all waiting to help you. And then I say, no, I don't need any of this. All I need is that I need to go onward journey, and I need a what do you call it, a meeting with the American embassy where I can get my passport stamped. So I ring up the passport office and they say, no, you can't, because the passport office says you will not get a meeting before 1 month, which means you have to stay there, because the only emergency meeting you can get is if somebody in US is dying and you have to go, or somebody in your family is dying and you need treatment, or in the national security interest of US. You don't come under any of this. So hold on for 1.5 months in London. Neither I can go back nor I can go forward. I'm stuck up. I don't have it. So the first thing, I put my phone down, and can you believe after 5 minutes, I get a call from the US embassy. Come, it was a Saturday, come on Monday. You have got an appointment. Somebody has asked us to give you a special appointment. Till today, believe me, I don't know who this person is, but I know he's part of the family, and he's got me the appointment without being mentioned anywhere. And this came to me as a surprise and helped me come out of such a difficult situation. So Zena being a global family, this is something, just a story to tell you. This is something I vision, that wherever I go in the world, I know there is a Zena member. Luckily, we have a lot of Zena members everywhere. And this connect should bring me so much in touch that the moment I say I'm from Zena, somebody should be there as a support system or as a help, or like putting everything aside. If you're from Zena, you're my, what we say, priority member that I would like to help professionally and personally. Second, as we are also focusing on going chapters like Hyderabad chapter and this chapter and every chapter. So another good practice which I would like to bring to Zena, or I vision it for myself, that if I am a part of this and I would like to bring this to the table, is that this chapter wise, I know we cannot all meet all the time, but our chapters, when we meet like a Delhi chapter or a Hyderabad chapter or whatever, is that this chapter becomes like an kind of an advisory board for each of us, where when it comes to any professional or personal issues or problems or anything in the family or in the office, I should be able to discuss with somebody and get a brainstorming and a very non-judgmental opinions from everybody to help me as a Zena member. Other than this, of course, Zena is envisioned to become completely something that we give back to society, to help members of Zena members, Zena's senior citizens and dependent children of Zena members, to give the best to them in whatever way we can, and also to give to society at large. So with something like this as an opening, let me just quickly go and share my screen and just come out with all the entities that we Zena has actually come up with, so that almost everybody of us can find something there for us when we want to do a project, a consultancy, an art, or music, or we just want to help an orphanage, an old age home. I'm just putting across the various things, or want to do a commercial project. I think there will be always members in Zena who can back up and give you and make a team for you. Like who said, it's all about people. I think Atulji said it's all about people. Yes, indeed. It's all about people, and they can't be anything without. So let me just quickly share my screen and tell me when you can see it. Hold on. Yeah, is it visible?
You need to larger.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. So let me just go the formal a bit and say what 9 entities we are all into and what these will be doing. So this is just a roadmap to manifest the aspirations of Zena world to impact the lives of the family members of Zena, as well as society in general. So the legal entities are divided basically in such a way that the reason why we went for, Zena went for 9 entities was that if you come up with something you want to do in any form, you should have a legal entity which can accommodate you to take your project forward, or to take whatever you want to do forward. Okay, so that's the reason why 9 entities were envisioned. So anything, whether it is social, for-profit, non-profit, alone you want to do it, single thing, or you want to do it in partnership, there is an entity right there for you under which banner you can undertake the thing. The philosophy being that we are providing a platform for each and every member in the family to bring to the table his knowledge, skills, experience, and anything meaningful that they can to add value to the members in general and society at large. So the legal framework was in such a way envisioned and thereby put up. And so there's a legal entity which anyone can and everyone can align to for doing any kind of activity. Could be passion, could be hobby, or could be social service, or could be a profit-making project. So these are the 9 entities, and you can just have a look. Just one second. Yes. So there are 5 non-for-profit and 4 for-profit. You can have a look. Zena International Foundation, Zena Soul Connect, Zena World Care Foundation. These are foundations, all of them. Zena Global Family Foundation, Zena Outreach Foundation. These are all for not-for-profit. And for profit are the Zena Connect LLP, Zena Global Family LLP, Zena World, a one-person company, private limited, and Zena World nominated with a nominated proprietor. Now let's just quickly go into each of them. I will not talk too much about the legal part. I think many of you may be knowing it, but just to give you taste of it. So the International Foundation will have, is basically with the objective to identify the pain points of society and to provide optimal solutions for removing these pain points. This is going to be operated under a non-profit organization, which is a Section 8 of the Companies Act. And the activities on these are like, we will have flagship programs, and I just thought we could do things like girl-child education, skilling programs, women empowerment programs, and think whatever you can in terms of what we can give back to society. The services will be doing these programs, structured programs, strategic advisory, and also associating with other organizations who are doing similar activities to do it jointly with them. At present, the membership of this is 31 members. The next is Zena Soul Connect Foundation. The objective of this is basically for the members to bring in all their hobbies, passions like music, art, culture, cooking, I mean, culinary activity, drama, dance, any of their passions to the table. This is a public trust, and we can bring this passion and also not just make ourselves happy about what we are doing, but our passion can also be something we can bring to the table for society at large. And if it benefits somebody, nothing like it. So this is about Zena World, and the number of members here would be right now are 32. Zena World Care Foundation, the objective is to look at the welfare of dependent children and senior citizens of the Zena family members. This is where I was started off my story with, that somewhere a Zena member will always have a connect with another Zena member. And if there are children or senior citizens who want help, or anybody stuck somewhere, this is where somewhere you should connect, care, and then try to help the Zena members. This will be a public trust, and activities would include sustainable programs which are designed and executed, and activities which take care of children and senior citizens of Zena family members. This will be supported, there will be interlinkages, and this will be supported by Zena World Care Private Limited. At present, we have 49 members in this. Coming to Zena Global Family Foundation, the objective is to bring about academic collaborations and student internships. This is a public trust again, and the activities would be designing sustainable programs and executing some techno-commercial projects to look after the dependent or challenged children, working fraternity, and senior citizens. And this would be outside of Zena family, that means for society at large. So this is supported by Zena Connect LLP, the interconnects I'm just mentioning, and Zena Global Family, and has 17 members at present. Zena Outreach Foundation, the objective is social program integrator and aggregator. And this is a national NGO under Societies Act. It has been registered. The activities would be tie-ups with other credible NGOs to create a win-win situation, and will do programs execution for Zena International Foundation, and to organize, this is a revenue, you can generate revenue under this, and not profit, but revenue, to do sustainable projects, sharing with Zena Global Family Foundation. Number of members in this would be right now are 23. Now comes the profit part of it. So here you have the LLP, Zena Connect LLP, with the objective of generating profits through sustainable, making it sustainable and doing projects. The focus would be on doing projects in the domestic market for business. So all projects within the jurisdiction of India probably would be taken up in Zena Connect LLP. And the number of members in this at present are 17. Zena Global Family LLP, for this is the similar thing, where you would take up for-profit projects, for-profit consultancies, or for-profit any activity. But the focus here would be on international markets for business. So if there are anybody who's doing projects abroad, or people abroad who are doing projects want to do, they can come under this entity. At present, you have 19 members under this entity. Zena World Care Private Limited. This is registered as a one-person company to facilitate Zena family members not associated legally with any of the Zena entities, but decide to participate in the business, to engage interested domain experts for symbiotic growth, and to provide a platform for any Zena family member who may wish to engage in revenue generating activities. So any projects, any consultancies where you think, you know, the team at Zena can support you, or there are like-minded people with backgrounds which are congenial to the project requirements, this would be the place where you can bring those projects. Team is the most important once again, and getting a right team at the right time is absolutely difficult in today's world. So Zena will be that, there's some disturbance. I request everyone to be on mute. So Zena will be that a pool of talent that will always help out you to bring on these projects for profit making under the Zena World OPC. Can I just request everyone to please go on mute? The activities under this are primarily consulting activities, which would generate revenue. Number of members right now are 43. Zena World, the objective of this is to provide a platform to connect product service providers with buyers globally. This is also a wonderful concept where right now you have businesses in India, but you would like to go global. So under Zena World, there would be a platform to connect you as a service provider or as a product provider with buyers globally through our Zena network globally. We would have a nominated proprietor in this, and the activities are international buyer-seller platform. Right now, there are 25 members under this platform. So to make it a little easy, I know it's difficult to remember all the 9 entities. I've just brought the same thing down here with very quick connections here. So Zena International Foundation. So just to remember it quickly, Solution for Societal Problems. This is your Zena Soul Connect Foundation. Art, music, entertainment, passion, just as catchwords. Zena World Care Foundation for dependent children and seniors of Zena members to give them support. Zena Global Family Foundation. This is for dependent children, working people, and seniors of society outside of Zena members. Zena Outreach Foundation. This is for social programs through projects. All these come under non-profit. Very quickly, for profit, Zena Connect LLP, profit generation, domestic. Zena Global Foundation LLP, profit generation for global market. Zena World Care OPC, revenue generation for exclusively for Zena members. Zena World nominated proprietor. This is a connect for product and services, which we want to take global, a platform for adding a platform for bringing domestic product and service providers, connecting them with global buyers. So end of that, we will have an interlinkage between all of them, and we will try to have a model which will link up these 9 so that we have a very compelling group which can always be a standby group to help any other group. That would be the intention. So I would like to just bring it out in the end that I think all of us have come here because we say this, that I choose to live by choice, not by chance, to make changes, not excuses, to be motivated, not manipulated, to be useful, not used, to excel, not compete. I choose self-esteem, not self-pity. I choose to listen to my inner voice, not the random opinions of others. That's it for me. Thank you so much.
So, Nandita.
Yes.
So your presentation is also beautiful like you. So you all glammed up for the Mother's Day. And I want to ask you a personal question, okay? What is the best hat that you wore? That of a mother, that of a wife, that of a motivator, that of an entrepreneur, or that of a giver?
Undoubtedly, the hat of the mother. No two thoughts.
So I also want to ask you another personal question. What keeps motivating you to do so much? You're so vibrant, and what is that people, I mean, I keep learning so many things from women like you, especially after I began my show, the 100 Women Pronouns of Hyderabad, which became a Herculean hit, and I wasn't expecting that to be such a big revelation and I got overboard with the kind of adulations I got from all the people across. How easy is it being a woman, and how tough is it being a woman in this modern day world?
So surely there is something extra. A woman has to always, they say, no, she has to work double to be considered half as good as a man. But having said that, I think if you are willed to do something and if you have it in you, nothing can stop you. Nothing. So I don't think it's that difficult. It's just hyped. Sometimes we need to take it forward and we have to have the will to do it. That's it. And I'm learning from the army people on board how you do it.
So I want to share a personal thing with you, to the audience, or to the members here, is that when we driving back from Nizamabad, I fell asleep in the car, and I couldn't drive because I was overdriven that time. And you drove pretty well, and you you drive the car pretty well. And I keep telling to a lot of my friends that, this lady, in some of the conversations, I said she drives, and she really made sure that we get to the destination.
Thank you so much.
All these wonderful skills, and happy Mother's Day to you. And
thank you so much. Thank you,
association with the Zena world and Zena family. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So next in line presentation, we have motivation, a wonderful motivation. And this gentleman is Lieutenant Colonel Nishant Singh, a BTech, Bachelor's of Technology in Electronics and Telecommunications from JNU, Delhi, MTech in Computer Science from IIT Delhi, domain expert of security architecture, cyber security operations, CERT, application security and information security, audit and compliance policies, cyber laws, and PR. 15 years of cybersecurity policy expert and trainer expertise out of total 20 plus years of work experience with Government of India. It's wonderful credentials. Skilled in IT and communication technologies is game. Currently serving in Corps of Signals, Indian Army, as Director, Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India. So we have a official from Government of India within the Zena family. Take it away, Lieutenant Colonel Nishant Singh.
Thank you so much for this kind words.
Happy Mother's Day.
Same to you. Happy Mother's Day to all. I have a small presentation to show. So do I have the right to share?
Yes.
I shall make you the presenter.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just a second. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just trying that. Just 1 minute. I'm trying to repeat your name.
So before the presentation starts, Colonel Singh, Lieutenant Colonel Singh. So what is the role that you have best enjoyed as a student in JNU? It's called the left bed of India. That have been an IT architect, or that in the Government of India?
I think I did both my degrees while in my service. So the best time that I can remember is my MTech in IIT Delhi. So during the service only for 2 years, I got the opportunity to complete my PG MTech there, and that brought me back to good old student days while in service, which is a very rare one can experience. So that helped me really.
In JNU, how has it been?
JNU, we were not being in service. We were not the resident students. We were doing it in our own college, that is Military College of Telecom Engineering, which is in Mau. And the degree is awarded by JNU.
Okay. Oh, Mau, a wonderful hill station.
Yeah.
Okay. So we look forward to hear your presentation. And,
thank you.
Yeah.
I have made you the host. Once you
Okay.
finish, just revert it back to me. Otherwise, I won't be.
Sure. I'll do that. I'll do that.
It's all yours, Colonel Singh.
Thank you. My presentation is visible to everyone.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah. Firstly, very good evening to all Zena family members. Motivational lecture, when I was asked by Dada, this responsibility was entrusted upon me. So I was really wondering that all the members in Zena family are accomplished in their own field and lives. So I really, firstly, I was finding it a little, bigger. It was very kind of a bigger canvas given to me where I didn't know how it's exactly to address such accomplished people with my small words. But then I gathered that I have been speaking to a lot of students and other professionals for motivation as a motivation speaker. But one thing that I found that no matter however big you grow in your stature, in your profession, or in your life, but at some point of time, we all need a push, a drive, or sometimes we call it a jolt to realize and to take a reality check or to get the corrective action. So there's no, I think all of us do need that, but in the different quantities, sometimes in different directions. But motivation, it's a natural thing. See, motivation is a natural thing to occur. So the most natural motivation that anybody has are your reflexes. When you blink your eye, it's a motivation. It's a natural motivation. You're blinking your eye because it's required. Otherwise, your eyes will get dried up. And when you something is coming on you, something is falling on you, so your natural reflex is to defend yourself. So motivation, you're saving yourself so you don't get hurt. So these are natural motivations. But there are motivations which are required by external sources, which drive us, which keep everybody going in the right direction in the life. But one bottom line is that everybody at this age and stage in life, we very well know, all of us are aware what is happening in our life and what could have been done. But still, sometimes if we take a deep breath, take a break and take down deeper within ourselves, then you may find a different world altogether. Maybe you could
Colonel
have.
Singh, we can't see your presentation. So left Colonel Singh. Nandita, can you quickly get it checked, please?
Is it not visible?
Not visible.
No, is it in PDF format?
No, it's PPT.
Okay.
Just a sec. I think it's showing me your screen sharing is paused.
Why is that?
Yes.
Just a minute. Let me just.
Yeah. Apologies for the delay. Positive. Yeah. Quickly resolve this technical issue.
I'll just stop sharing and start and share once again.
You are very much the host.
Yeah, just a sec. That was showing that. It's still showing that your screen sharing is paused.
Okay, just a second.
Nishant, if you could just close all the other apps that you have open. I think you've got a lack of memory, which is why it's pausing it.
No, it shouldn't be. I have adequate memory on the laptop, but nevertheless,
I meant your broadband width, not so much only on your computer.
Oh, okay. So you can close down all the other sites that are open.
Colonel Singh, I hope you're not being hacked by the government of India.
Most likely it's going to be the Chinese government.
Or the Chinese government. Yeah, we are the radar now.
And I'm not able to do anything right now because I'm not the host. Okay, so you only have to do it.
May I remind everybody to hang around because there's a special surprise at the end. My name is Sunil, so hang around, guys, ladies and gentlemen.
Lovely voice. You're on mute. You're on mute.
I'm trying this again, but I'm getting the same message. Your screen sharing is paused. So I'm sure nothing to do with the memory. It's about the Zoom settings. It is showing me a button saying resume share, but when I press, nothing is happening.
Would you like to go ahead with the presentation or just talk to us?
Okay, that is also fine. But let me try once again. Sharing the whole screen. Let me try that. I think now it's visible.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
देर से आए लेकिन दुरुस्त आए.
So that's what. So I'll start with my talk. So whatever background I have to build, I had built. So just a small story I would like to share with you. Once Gautam Buddha was sitting with his some 30-40 monks with him, and they had excellent lunch and they were enjoying the company of each other. They were talking. Suddenly, a farmer was passing by, and he stopped there and he was looking quite agitated. And he asked the Buddha and the monks whether they had seen his cows passing by. So Buddha told him that they had not seen any cows passing by. The farmer then added that I'm so unhappy that I had 12 cows and all I have lost all, and they all ran away. And I'm surprised so many monks sitting here, they have not even seen. And he also added that I have few acres of land and I have some seed plantation and I'm not able to look after them. Insects have eaten them up. So I suffer so much, I think I'm going to end my life. And so he was totally dejected, depressed and frustrated. So Buddha said, my friend, we have not seen any cows. You may kindly go and look for them in some other direction. So the farmer thanked him and left from there. Then Buddha started speaking to his monks and asked them, what did you learn? So they were all, they said, yeah, he was looking agitated. We could have helped him. He said, that is okay, but what is the lesson of the life? So the lesson of the life here is that if you see, you are the happiest people in the world if you don't have any cows, because you don't have the cows to lose. If you have too many cows to take care of, you'll be very busy. That's why in order to be happy, you have to learn the art of releasing the cows one by one. So in the beginning, you thought that those cows were essential to your happiness, and you tried to get more and more cows. But now you realize that cows are not really conditions for your happiness. They rather constitute an obstacle to your happiness. That's why you are determined to release your cows. So the lesson is you can apply the releasing of cows to the releasing of all material things that you have. Certainly living in this materialistic world, we cannot think like a monk, but when we say releasing all material things, maybe we can relate it in the correct perspective in everybody's life, that we think that we are tied with, which are often causing an obstacle in your life instead of being a motivational source, or so they act like an impediment in your life. Certain times in life, we need to release these cows, and that too one by one. So possessions at times become an impediment in your life. So that was a lesson. With that, I would say that there's something in us, everybody has something, which actually a lot of us are not aware, and we always have an outward vision and we try to find that outside in the material world. But what is there within us, at times we need somebody else to show us what is there in us. So motivation, as I said, everybody and anybody in this world at some point of time in life, we need to get motivated, maybe by external source or by some individual. So it has different components. Firstly, to activate the motivation in you, if the source is not within you, then it has to be from somewhere. But there is a source of activation required in the right direction. And then persistence is up to you. How persistent you are in your approach and your efforts to keep yourself driving in the right direction. And the intensity of your efforts will determine the quantum of success that you may expect from that motivation. So in order to achieve this, some rules in life, which I feel everybody, all of us have some rules in life, but a lot of us make rules for convenience. If we make certain rules to keep ourselves happy, maybe sounding a little selfish or centered this time, keeping ourselves happy. But unless you are happy, you can really not think of anybody else's happiness. So one has to love oneself before you start loving others. So if you don't love yourself, you can't keep yourself happy, you can never keep anyone else happy. So the first rule is let it go. Means if something bad has happened the previous day, don't spoil your present day, your today, thinking about that bad yesterday. And then is ignoring people. Don't listen to other, like live a life that's empowering to you. So it's not that the people out in the outside world should not affect your happiness. They should not affect your motivation towards your goal, your drive towards your goal. If they affect, it should be a positive effect, but negative effect should not be. You have to make yourself immune to such negative effects, and you need to give it time. A lot of times success will not walk up to you. You need to keep walking, take baby steps. You need to give time, and certainly time heals everything. Often we are get into comparing things that by this age and time and with this much of amount, my peer, my counterpart did this wonder, but I am nowhere. So that's not what you should compare with. You need to compare you. The only person you should try to beat is the person you were yesterday. And if there is a continuous improvement, which I see in myself, I think I am motivated and I am going in the right direction. And staying calm is the best medicine. Not everything can be figured out. A lot of things will remain unanswered, they'll remain puzzled to you. But when the time will come, you will get there. But losing your calm will affect adversely, will have adverse effect on your efficiency, your effectiveness. And it's only you who should be in charge of your happiness. Why somebody else should make you sad or happy? Decide to stay happy. It is within you. You can only make it happen. And most important is life is too short to frown. If we cannot smile, we will not be able to achieve any positivity in life. It's not about a plastic smile that people keep wearing. It's about the smile that comes from within, that is only possible if we feel that whatever I have was meant for me, and what I don't have, someday it will be there if it is meant for me. So it's not about making false promises to yourself, knowing your capability, challenge yourself. Sometimes the challenges will only make the change in your life. And smiling and making others smile is another art. If you can bring a smile on someone's face, that gives you a great happiness. If somebody who's had a bad day, but because of your presence, because of your soothing words, if you can bring a smile to his face, that there cannot be anything better than making that person happy. It's in profession, we keep doing a lot of things which we are not ourselves convinced with, but we do it to make our bosses happy. We do it for the organization. But still, when we go back home, at the end of the day, when we look within, we find that what have I done today? Have I done anything so great that I should feel happy about? Sometimes the answer is no. But if while coming back en route, you would have come across somebody who had a bad day and he asked you to have a coffee with him, and you went and you sat with that person and you made some difference in his life by just your presence, by your soothing words, and done nothing else, but you made him feel better. That day you would definitely feel better once you go back home. And at the end, I would say, if you don't love yourself, you cannot love anyone else. That's my theory, and I practice it also. And next, your work is a great business tycoon, owner of Apple, CEO. He said, your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So it's exactly what we are doing right now in Zena family. We are doing what we love doing. That's the reason the change that we can bring to the world will be enormous as compared to what we have been doing in a profession. We all are accomplished people here in Zena family. People have done wonders in their profession. But these different entities of Zena world, which have been created, are going to give us that path, that satisfaction, which we cannot think anywhere else. And at the end, if we plan something, if there is a goal, if there is no plan attached to it, it's just a wish. So just by setting a goal is not enough. We need to associate a plan with the goal, which should be implementable and practical. Thank you so much for hearing me.
Thank you so much, Kapil Nishanti. Wonderful presentation and so much to learn from you. Just to add a bit of motivation to your motivational talk, to what I have achieved as a personality, as a celeb or an icon for the youth, is even when I was a kid, I had little challenges. I couldn't speak well, So I trained in the language of English for 9 long years to master the language of English.
Wow.
And coincidentally, I was a myopic, extremely myopic. I have a -7 sight on my glasses, but that didn't deter me at all. I kept pushing for my goal to be on the screen, to be visible on the screen. And today I have my own talk show, I have my own TV channel. And it's like when you pursue what you want to do, nothing in the world can stop you.
Nothing can stop. Absolutely. So you're a live example. You're a live example. One can really get inspired from you.
Yes, thank you so much. And you guys are an example for keep serving us. And
by the way, I would like to add one thing. You know, Guru Dutt, he was also very myopic. And all the shoots, you know, he was not wearing glasses and he was not able to see what is going on. But he was able to give such good expressions. That was also another important thing.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Nishant Singh. Happy Mother's Day to you and to your family.
Thank you so much. Same to you.
The next in line, we have a wonderful voice person who had just had a vociferous gushed out. An alumni of College of Engineering, Trivandrum, Loyola College, Trivandrum, MBA from Ahmedabad, a management graduate, engineering graduate, born and brought up in God's own country of Kerala, from Trivandrum. I think the constituency of my favorite parliamentarian, Shashi Tharoor. Skilled as entrepreneur and administrator. No wonder all these guys from Trivandrum have this wonderful voice and wonderful dialects. Please welcome a vote of the thanks by Mr. Sunil Varghese.
Thank you, Kapil. And thank
So
you.
you need to answer me before you have the vote of thanks.
It's the coconut oil and the beef and parathas.
So that gives the better voice, is it?
And the rum and coke, of course.
Okay, please take it away, sir. It's all yours.
You've forgotten Yeshudas.
Yes, Yesudas too. Yesudas. He's sung so many songs in Tollywood too. Yeah.
I'm glad to be anchored in a program by India's best cricketer. who was named after our dear friend here.
Thank you.
Anchored the program beautifully. But I want to thank all of you for spending your Sunday afternoon with Zena, getting to know the Navaratnas, the 9 entities. Actually, I feel quite illiterate in this elite gathering of doctors, academicians, senior army officials. In fact, my biggest claim to fame was that I was a classmate of Raghuram Rajan. My biggest claim to fame, hopefully in the next few months, will be that my debut film will be releasing. It's a Santosh Shivan production where I play the antagonist. Yeah,
Wow.
tough guy. It's a bilingual in Tamil and Malayalam, and it will be on Amazon Prime.
Wow.
Very good. Very good.
I-
Wow.
I think the best qualification that I have is that I'm the eldest son of a career woman, a doctor, with 3 troublesome children. She's 86 years old. She stays alone in Trivandrum. Doesn't trouble me. I'm in Chennai. She's learned bridge, which I taught her, and painting. And she pursues both with a dedicated excellence. I think she belongs in this group more than I do. Rajiv, please note. I would particularly like to thank the panelists. But before that, I would start from where Nishant left off, and I take the liberty of calling you Nishant because we're all friends here. This is a family.
Sure. Of course, by all means.
Happiness is the ultimate goal. It's not an easy goal, particularly in this Corona times, where everything has changed. All standard operating procedures. I don't know whether you're doing it in the army. You should. Firstly, Corona. Secondly, China. Thirdly, Zena. But when I run a small scale unit, which is bleeding cash, I get my kicks out of teaching bridge. I also mentor a lot of startups at IIT Madras, which is probably the biggest center of deep technology in the country today. And I tell them, what you should do is a confluence of 3 things: what you're good at, what you want to do, and the opportunities in the market. I tell them when they're at the cusp of choosing a career, choosing which startup to go with. In our case also, there are a lot of things we are good at. I mean, this is a wonderful group with a lot of diverse talents, with a certain emphasis to army officers and to Hyderabad, I see, and to very empowered women. Happy Mother's Day. What we are good at, we all know. What we want to do also has been more or less laid down in this 9 entities, the Navaratras, as we call them. But what is missing is the third arm. In IIT, I talk about opportunities in the market. Here, I will talk about Corona crises. Happiness is threatened because there are many people who have not left their house for a year, saving themselves from Corona. It doesn't help, not in the metropolitan cities. Bangalore is bad. I don't know how it is in Hyderabad. Chennai is also getting bad. But when you talk to doctors, it is not Corona which is killing. It is not the lack of oxygen. It is panic. And many people are living alone. The children are in the US earning dollars, working for Infosys. They need somebody to talk to. I think a basic counseling can be done by any of us with probably an hour of training. Some experienced counselor can do that. And when I mentioned this to Rajiv, he talked about Soul Connect and theater and art. Wonderful idea, because 20 years ago, I was with the senior Brahmakumari who used theater to take trauma away from the families of the victims and the firemen of September 11th attack in New York. He used theater. The feeling of hopelessness comes from lack of control. We are not in control anymore. Nor is Modi, nor is Stalin, the chief minister here, nor is Anthony Fauci or Biden. Nobody is in control. And theater, and this is the big problem. So people are dying, but they are dying out of depression, suicide, murder. Two people cannot spend, husband and wife cannot spend 24 hours in the same house with 3 children, all of them online and stepping on each other's way all the time. Absolute mayhem. Corona has changed everything. I think we should look at the crises in the market. People are being provided food, clothing, and shelter, but there's a huge, huge vacuum for counseling, for people to be able to talk, empathy, EQ. And I think all of us have the basic qualification to be trained even in an hour. Rajiv, Kapil, Nandita, this is a wonderful laying out of, you could start in Hyderabad, I believe you're strong there. This is not geographically limited now. Everything is online, so nothing is geographically limited, really. You could choose a segment, you could choose widows, for example, or single mothers. Single mothers are the most vulnerable lot. They have to earn their bread and the children exploit them. I think it was Dr. Atul Sinha who talked about people being more important than strategy. That's the top part of the pyramid. The bottom part is implementation, and everything is in implementation. It's good that we have 9 entities which can come together towards one short-term mission, even if it is just as good as happiness. Just smile, like Nishant said. This is my 4th Zoom meeting of the day, and I'm smiling because of you wonderful people, but half of you are not seen. May I request all of you, please switch your video on. Thank you. Come on, it's okay. If you haven't brushed your teeth, nobody will know. And anything below the shoulder is generally not seen if you position the camera correctly. Pedicure and, you know. Actually, I'm wearing a dhoti and this formal shirt. Can we have more videos? I hate speaking to a blank screen, and I promise something exciting, something magical, which could come your way, but I need to see people. I need to see people smile, because we are a family. Zena is a family. There are 9 entities, but it's one family probably going to work towards one common short-term goal. Go for the low-hanging fruit, Nandita. That itself will inspire.
Absolutely.
Aspirations to climb Mount Everest, but start with the low-hanging fruit. Do something.
Sure.
First thing is, everybody put your video on and smile. I'm doing that. Kapil's doing that. Nandita is doing that. Reena is doing that. So is Anurag, Ujjwala, Saluri. Thank you, Nishant. And Raji, where are you?
No, he did switch it on.
Raji is feeling shy. Before we go ahead, when we are all on video, can we all unmute to give a big 3 cheers to Rajiv and Zena? That was the whole idea of coming online. And Rajiv, you can take photographs, but only if you can come online and show your face.
Okay.
3 cheers for Rajiv and Zena. Hip hip.
Hooray.
Hip hip.
Hooray.
Hip hip.
Hooray.
Thank you. Thank you. Now,
Please unmute yourself, Rajiv Bhaiya. Unmute yourself.
Sorry. Can somebody please first immediately train me how to get embarrassed? I don't know how to get embarrassed.
Can you come on?
You haven't done anything to get embarrassed.
I'm blushing and I can't blush properly.
is that why you sport a beard? If you're black like me, it doesn't show.
I'm sporting a beard only because I can any day come and copy your style.
Can we have the others also please switch on your videos? I need to take some screenshots.
I think at least one screen full of videos is required.
Mamta, Shobha, Sunita, Shri Puja, Priyanka, Babita, Shivani, Deepika. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Atul, I can't praise you enough for wearing many hats. I also claim to be jack of all trades, master of none.
Shivani, just for a minute, if you all come, we'll have a great grid full of faces smiling.
That'll be nice. That'll be really nice.
Request everybody to turn on their cameras and their mics. And
Mics can remain on mute till we do the magic at the end.
Yes. And we want to hear this one nice clapping for all the wonderful participants.
That's right. We'll do it at the end. Don't worry. Meanwhile, I'd like to just talk about Atul's wonderful vision laid out. The people are important. We have the people. The strategy is the next thing. We have the strategy. We need a short-term action plan for one actionable mission. That is the elephant in the room. Happiness is the greatest thing we can aspire to, particularly in COVID times. Nothing else matters. The gold in your locker, the number of friends that you have in different countries, nothing matters. Your happiness, your health, your immunity. Sometimes a little bit of magic helps. The happiest countries in the world are surprisingly Bhutan, not surprisingly Scandinavian countries, Norway. They also have the highest per capita income, but that's not required. Bhutan is way down the list, way, way, way down the list. So ladies and gentlemen, this is my first experience in Zena. I really didn't expect so many. It's a question of, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can.
Because power has gone off, I'm on the inverter. That's okay. We still need a few more photographs, a few more people to put their video on. But let me finish with my hobby. It's a little more than a hobby. I tried to do magic to entertain. Physics and chemistry. Magic was developed in the temples of ancient India. Physics and chemistry was magic before it became physics and chemistry. You figure that out. So ladies and gentlemen, I want your focus. I want you to look into my eyes, particularly Nandita. Psychology. Everybody think of a number from 1 to 10. Actually 1 to 9. You want to change your mind, Nandita?
No.
I'm very happy with the mind you have. So are all of us. Multiply your number by 9.
Okay.
You get an answer which is a 2-digit number. Forget your original number. Add the 2 digits of the answer together. You get a new number.
Yes.
Will everybody stretch their right hand out? Please, thank you. Thank you. There is a Zena oath, there's a Zena vision. We've all gone through that. But I want you to subtract the fingers, number of fingers in your right hand from the answer that you get by adding the 2 digits, which you got by multiplying your number by 9. From the answer, you subtract the number of fingers in your right hand. You get your final number. Forget about everything else now. Only the final number. If the final number is 1, your letter is A. If the final number is 2, your letter is B. If your final letter is C, sorry, if your final number is 3, your letter is C. If your final number is 26, your letter is Z, or Z as the Americans call it. Now you have a letter. Nandita,
Yeah.
look into my eyes and think of a country, not a city, not a state, not a continent, a country which starts with that letter.
Yeah.
You take the second last letter of the country and think of a flower, any flower which starts with that. And meanwhile, Nishan sir, will you take the second letter of your country and think of an animal, any animal, big, small, starting with that letter. So everybody has thought of a number. Let's recap what we have done. Everybody has thought of a number, multiplied it by 9, got an answer, added the 2 digits of the answer together, subtracted 5 from the answer, got a final number, got a letter corresponding to the final number, got a country corresponding to that final alphabet. Nandita has taken the second last letter of the country and thought of a flower. And Nishant has taken the second letter of the country and thought of an animal. Now come on, Nandita and Nishant, the ends. Look into my eyes now. Now.
Yeah.
But there are no roses and elephants in Denmark. They're all in India.
Beautiful. Awesome. Awesome.
India is the place for roses, elephants, where Zena grows.
Super. So the country was Denmark, he said it, and
thank you for the wonderful opportunity.
Roses. Super.
Before we close for today, as in paucity of the time, thank you so much for your wonderful vote of thanks and this magic trick, Varghese ji. Look forward to have the paratha at your place soon amidst the monsoon rains. So thank you all for your wonderful time on this Sunday evening, and happy Mother's Day to all those beautiful women in the group, in the Zena group, and to the mothers and the wives of all your men out there. Happy Mother's Day. Before I close today's meeting, in my favorite poetry, which I have found inspiration during my tough times, of Harivansh Rai Bachchan, I close today's Zoom meeting with this poetry. Here it goes. लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. नन्ही चींटी जब दाना लेकर चलती है, चढ़ती दीवारों पर 100 बार फिसलती है. मन का विश्वास रगों में साहस बढ़ता है, चढ़कर गिरना गिरकर चढ़ना ना करता है. मेहनत उसकी बेकार हर बार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. डुबकिया सिंधु में गोताखोर लगाता है, जा जाकर काली हाथ लौट कर आता है. मिलते नहीं सहज गहरे मोती पानी में, बढ़ता दुगना विश्वास उसे हैराता है. मुट्ठी उसकी काली हर बार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. जिंदगी एक चुनौती है, उसे स्वीकार करो. जिंदगी एक चुनौती है, उसे स्वीकार करो. संघर्ष का मैदान छोड़ मत भागो तुम, कुछ किए बिना ही तुम्हारी जय जयकार नहीं होती. कुछ किए बिना ही हमारी जय जयकार नहीं होती. जीना वर्ल्ड की जय जयकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. With these lines on this Sunday evening on May 9th, the Mother's Day, wishing all of you a happy Mother's Day. Until the next meeting of the Navaratna meet or the Zena World meet, we'll all see you for the next time. Thank you, Rajiva Anandji. Thank you, Nandika Sethi.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Stay happy, stay focused, and a particular hi to my friend from 30 years ago, Kasturi. I didn't see your face. I may not even recognize you if I see you. See you soon.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank
bye-bye.
you, everybody. Thank you.
And we can all clap now before leaving.
Yeah, we can all do the clapping.
3 cheers for Rajiv and Zena. Hip hip.
Hooray.
Hip hip. Hip hip.
Yay.
Well done, Kapil and everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye. Lovely being here and lovely meeting all of you. Thank you so much.